Thought we were celebrating the upcoming graduation of our son.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at 10 seemingly mundane photos that showcase horrible people.
At one point, his friend Mike Mandel told investigators Tyler discussed allegedly purchasing a garden tool to, quote, use it on someone.
John Wayne Gasey and the First Lady.
On the go for Democrats as Norwood Park committeeman. A visit with Rosalind Carter, the First Lady during the Carter administration. Gasey right here is hiding the fact that there are bodies buried under his house.
Here we see a respectable man bespoke in a red suit and shaking hands with First Lady Rosalind Carter. Surely this is a man of some renown. Nope, it's John Wayne Gasey, killer of at least 33 people. Gasey was active in local politics and had gained access to the event as a precinct captain.
He's very attentive to all details, and so he's sort of that's the way that he operates, and that's how people like him are able to do these crimes and cover them up, because they are well planned and organized.
He was even vetted by the Secret Service and given a special pin indicating he had passed a background check. This pin can be seen in the photo, and it serves as a horrifying bit of irony. This photo was taken in May of 1978, when Gasey had already murdered dozens of people. He was caught and confessed that following December, stating that he was responsible for approximately 30 murders.
Hi, Meg. We're right in the middle of lunch.
John, I'm sorry to disturb you, but that hideous stench coming from under your house is getting worse.
It's moisture buildup in my crawl space. I'm taking care of it, I promise.
Myra Hindley and her dog.
The crimes committed by Moore's murderer Myra Hindley shocked the nation. Hindley has been demonized as the most evil woman in Britain.
Take one look on Instagram or any other social site and you'll find a gajillion photos of people with their dogs. People posing with their lovable pets is nothing new. In fact, let's go back in time to 1963 when this photo was taken. It depicts a woman kneeling in an English moor, an adorable puppy cradled underneath her arm. Cute, right? Well, not really.
The crime scene of the murder of Edward Evans was a grossly blood-splattered affair, in the midst of which Myra Hindley was projecting herself as a laughing, gay, busy housewife, tidying up a normal domestic scene. She normalized what was grossly abnormal.
This is child killer Myra Hindley, who, with her partner Ian Brady, murdered 5 young people in the early 1960s. In fact, this photo shows Hindley kneeling over the grave of their second victim, John Kilbride. The photo was taken by Brady at Saddleworth Moor, which is where he and Hindley took and buried their victims.
The last time I saw my brother John was in 1963 on a Saturday morning as I got up. What I used to do every Saturday was going out the market, stallholders peck away. He just never come home that night.
Jeffrey Franklin's smile.
Franklin was 17 when he killed his parents and tried to murder his 3 young siblings at their South Huntsville home. That was in 1998.
A young man looks over his shoulder, his eyes wide and his mouth grinning. He looks like your everyday college kid, and this photo could have easily been taken during a night on the town. But really, it was a night in a police car. You see, this is 17-year-old Jeffrey Franklin, and earlier that night, he used weapons like a hatchet, a sledgehammer, and a knife to murder his parents and attack his 3 younger siblings. A neighbor spotted Franklin covered in blood and called 911, leading to his arrest. In this photo, Franklin is sitting in the back of the police car, and with that knowledge, those eyes suddenly become a lot more wild, and that grin a lot more diabolical.
Parole denied in a high-profile murder case out of Huntsville. Jeffrey Franklin is serving 5 consecutive life sentences at Bullock Correctional Facility. That's near Union Springs, and he won't be getting out of prison anytime soon.
Jennifer and Sarah Hart pose with the family.
That family almost never left the home, only to go to the store, and that late last year, the signs of trouble started to become glaringly obvious.
You can never trust what you see on social media. If you were to look on Jennifer Hart's Facebook page, you'd see a loving family consisting of Jennifer, her wife Sarah, and their 6 adopted children. The Harts presented themselves as a loving, progressive, and multiracial family, often posting curated photos like this one to their socials.
They go on to say the family was all about community, whether it was marching together or going to family-friendly music festivals, and that they shared positive energy and love no matter where they went.
But despite this positive public image, the Hart children were severely neglected, often suffering starvation and both physical and mental abuse. At one point, young Hannah Hart jumped out of her bedroom window and asked her neighbor for help, but she was quickly returned home without incident. The Hart story tragically culminated on March 26, 2018, when Jennifer drove the family off a cliff.
Ruling just about an hour ago, the Hart mothers intentionally took their own lives and the lives of their 6 adopted children.
Rodney Alcala's headshot.
Between takes, he might find him skydiving or motorcycling. Please welcome Rodney Alcala. Rod, welcome.
Who is this fine-looking man, you may be asking? The movie star looks shine through the outdated fashion, and this could easily pass as a headshot for a professional actor. Unfortunately, you cannot judge people solely on their looks.
Bachelor number 1.
Yes.
What's your best time?
The best time is at night, nighttime,
Why do you say that?
because that's the only time there is.
While this man looks put together and respectable, he's actually a heinous sex offender who may have murdered up to 130 people. He is Rodney Alcala, whom you probably know better as the dating game killer, owing to his infamous appearance on the game show of the same name. No one knows Alcala's true body count, but he was ultimately convicted of 7 murders and sentenced to death. However, he died of a heart attack in 2021 after decades of legal delays.
Thank you, Rodney. Thank you. Okay. You can go relax, meet each other, say hello, get acquainted.
Bart Whitaker's graduation dinner.
Agreeing with the parole board, Texas Governor Greg Abbott commuted Whitaker about an hour before his scheduled execution. He was convicted of arranging a plot that left his mother and brother fatally shot.
College graduation, a huge milestone and one certainly worth celebrating. In December 2003, Thomas Bartlett Bart Whitaker went out with his family to celebrate his graduation from Sam Houston State. One photo shows him proudly sitting with his mother and brother, and another shows him holding a celebratory dessert. However, this was all a ruse, as Whitaker had not graduated from university.
As they celebrate his graduation, only Bart knows that an intruder has quietly entered their home. His deadly plot is about to begin.
Later that evening, a gunman hired by Whitaker ambushed the family inside the house, killing his mother and brother, injuring his father, and shooting Whitaker in the arm to make it look like he was a victim. Even though he did not personally fire the weapon, Whitaker was convicted of murder and sentenced to death, although this was later commuted to life in prison.
Bart smiles, and yet he knows that if everything goes as planned, in less than 30 minutes, his brother, his mother, and his father will all be dead.
Tyler Hadley at the party.
We are learning more tonight about the case of Tyler Hadley, the Treasure Coast teen accused of bludgeoning his parents to death with a hammer.
2 young men pose at a party, one of them holding a red cup. There are billions of photos like this on social media, and no one would find this one suspicious. But what if we told you there were 2 dead bodies upstairs?
Kelly, evidence filed today by the state attorney's office indicates that Tyler Hadley hinted to several friends during a party at his family home on July 16th that he had killed his parents earlier that day.
On July 16, 2011, Tyler Hadley, the young man holding the cup, bludgeoned both of his parents to death with a hammer, then invited about 60 friends over for a party. Guests reported a funny smell inside the house, and on one occasion, Hadley took his friend Michael Mandel upstairs to see their corpses. Mandel then took this photo with Hadley, keeping up a friendly ruse. He called a crime hotline later that night, and Hadley was arrested.
The 17-year-old Hadley told 2 friends he would be going to prison for a long time, telling one it was because he, quote, did something bad.
Ted Bundy in court.
Kim was full of goodness and hope and kindness. That's part of the reason I feel like our classmates still cling together, because of her goodness.
If you had no concept of who Ted Bundy was, this photo would seem perfectly normal, maybe even intensely professional. With his nice suit, documents, and briefcase, he could be one of the millions of lawyers working across the country, intently watching a case as it unfolds. But as we know, there is way more to the story.
There comes word from Lake City. That's about 90 miles east of Tallahassee, that a junior high school student, Kimberly Leach, has disappeared during the middle of the school day.
Bundy is one of the most notorious serial killers in history, a true psychopath in every sense of the word. In this photo, he's watching the jury selection during his trial in Orlando for killing a 12-year-old girl named Kimberly Leach. Leach was Bundy's final confirmed victim before he was finally caught and sentenced to death.
It was raining, drizzly, very dreary day. I went to our designated spot to meet up, to go to our next class together, and she wasn't there.
We knew something was wrong.
BTK is a proud father.
This letter is very clear to tell us, you have the wrong people. You need to stop looking at them. You need to come back and focus your attention on me. I am the important one.
In this case, the graduation was real. A proud middle-aged man and his daughter pose in front of a tree, the daughter having just graduated from Kansas State University. They look like a happy family, but the father was hiding a very dark secret.
He wanted to brag about it. He wanted to make sure that we, the police, found it undisturbed, and he wanted us to see his work and wanted us to realize the type of quote-unquote monster we were dealing with.
This is Carrie Rawson, and her father is Dennis Rader, also known as BTK. By this point, Rader had already murdered at least 10 people, his crimes stretching from 1974 to 1991. And he might have gotten away with it, as the case had gone cold by the time this photo was taken. However, he contacted the media in the mid-2000s to gloat, and police were able to trace a floppy disk directly to him, leading to his arrest.
We could tell that it was somehow affiliated with Christ Lutheran Church and the Park City Community Public Library. And then the next thing we looked at was statistics, and it shows here that was last saved by Dennis.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Josef Mengele sits down to eat.
He went to Auschwitz because in Auschwitz he would have the chance of experimenting on testing, examining more twins, and he planned to later write about it, use it in order to make his scientific career.
This photo of 4 people eating at a restaurant was on display in Embu, Brazil. Why? It's just an old photo of 4 happy people enjoying each other's company and having a nice meal. What's so interesting about that? Well, the older man on the left is Josef Mengele, the notorious Nazi doctor who conducted inhumane medical experiments at Auschwitz during World War II.
Like many people, I've read about this place. I've seen pictures and movies about it. But I didn't fully get the sheer scale and the extent of the suffering until I saw this place with my own eyes.
Mengele's experiments were grotesque, like sewing people together to make conjoined twins and injecting chemicals into eyeballs to see if they would change color. And why was this photo in Brazil? Because that's where he spent his final years, having successfully escaped justice for decades before drowning in 1979.
Because of Mengele's fascination with eye color, he ended up removing the eyes from many of his victims. And that's why the memorial to Mengele's victims that was erected in his hometown of Günzburg consists of many, many eyes.
Were you fooled by these photos? Let us know in the comments below.
It's really disturbing.